Okay, I don't actually know if the Lakers are going to win it next year, but they're certainly in the mix, and they've got a chance to get better. They have some options with free agents. There's a chance they could get their full mid-level, which would be like $9.7 million. They have some chances to pull off a move, although they could just end up using their pick, which I believe is going to be the 29th pick in the draft. There's a couple things. The first thing to think about is just the Western Conference, and some of this is going to be stuff that I said when I reacted to them winning the finals, but I don't know. So, Golden State's, of course, going to be back in the mix. Steph and Clay, we expect to be awesome. Draymond, we don't know. Wiggins, we don't know. Their bench, we don't really know. They do have Pascal. Of course, there's the second pick. They could trade it. They could pick somebody. Who knows what Golden State's going to do? But the thing that I question for the Warriors is, can they really beat LeBron and Anthony Davis? Because if you go down the list of guys who gave the Warriors a whole bunch of problems, it was basically those two. With AD, it didn't end up being a big deal because the team he was on wasn't good enough. And in the case of LeBron, they got Kevin Durant, so that didn't end up mattering either. And of course, he is not there now. LeBron's stats against the Warriors in the 4 finals: 33 points, 12 boards, 9 assists. AD's stats against the Warriors in that one series where he got swept: 32 points on a 62% true shooting percentage. And those guys are, of course, on the same team. So, I mean, when they go to Draymond at center, I don't know if they can guard AD. He was maybe the one guy who you'd look at and you'd be like, well, if he was on a better team, I don't know if Golden State could handle him. Well, that's happening now. So, I don't know. I mean, they've got Kevon Looney. I don't think he's the guy. Could this pressure them to drafting James Wiseman? I don't know. But that's the first thing. I just don't know if Golden State's defense is going to be able to handle those two if they meet in a playoff series. In the case of other Western Conference teams, the Clippers, they've got some things to prove. We all know that one. Denver, they certainly looked good, but I think defensively they're going to have to get better. I think in general that roster needs to improve, even if we assume Jamal Murray comes into next season averaging, 23 points a game or something. Maybe a couple more if I want to be nice. MPJ, probably going to get some more minutes. Houston already proved that you can't beat AD going small. And barring any insane trades, I don't think there's anybody else in the Western Conference we really have to think about as competition to the Lakers next season. So, again, they're right there. And to think about all those teams a little bit more, I mean, Houston doesn't have too many assets left to really make moves. They've got a couple picks down the road, so I guess there's that for you. We all know the Clippers' draft pick situation, so good luck for them trying to make any kind of a trade. Denver does have a bit of leeway, though. Denver can certainly make some moves, and as far as who you want that to be, I don't know. I think Drew Holiday is the one guy I see talked about a lot with them. I assume they're going to let Millsap walk. They're going to bring back Jeremy Grant. So I think Denver could have a pretty interesting offseason. And again, the Warriors could certainly have one as well because of that second pick and the Wolves pick, which I'm pretty sure they can trade. Even if it's protected, I believe they can still do that. So, yeah, they've got options. Now, if we take a look at the Lakers themselves, I expect LeBron to still be LeBron next year. I imagine at some point there's going to be a season where LeBron clearly has a drop-off in minutes. This year he played 34.5. Maybe next year he could play like 33.5 or so. But he's still going to be himself. Maybe AD will take more shots than LeBron, I don't know. But yeah, I'm expecting those two to just kind of maintain what they've been doing. I mean, AD still can make improvements as a playmaker. I think that would be the one thing, because there were times in the playoffs where teams would bring a lot of attention on him and he would have a moment of like, what do I do with the ball right now? Now, as for the Lakers and their money situation, I mean, I think the goal would be to still have their full mid-level, which would be $9.7 million. There are some questions. Rondo's got a player option. KCP's got one. Dwight's contract is up. Do they want to bring back Markieff Morris? Will AD decline his player option and then sign the max, or will he accept it and then do the extension in 2022? I don't know. I mean, the idea could be if he gets an extra year or so of experience, it could improve the percentage of the cap that he gets when he does eventually agree to the max contract for the Lakers. whatever it may be. The goal, again, is to just have their full mid-level, which is like 9 point something million, and the one player who I think would be amazing for them would be Ibaka. Whether they could actually get him, I don't know. The Raptors might want to hold on to him. Somebody else might give him more money, but if they could get a center who could shoot next to AD, I think that would be really, really something. The only other exciting Lakers mid-level guys to me are Jeremy Grant, who, again, I think Denver's going to keep, or Joe Harris, who I think will get more than the $9 million that the mid-level will be. Anybody else is just your run-of-the-mill wing player. Like, if the Lakers end up with Jay Crowder next season, fine, but it's not that exciting. Maybe you could put Jordan Clarkson and Marcus Morris in that group as well. As for any trades, I mean, they've got Danny Green's $15 million expiring. They have Kuzma, who could be an exciting young asset for some team. He's 25. He kind of is what he is at this point, but maybe somebody else thinks that Kuzma still has a bit more room to improve. They do have Talen Horton-Tucker if they want to get off of him. And they still have their pick on draft night, which is going to be the 29th pick, I think. You know, maybe it could get you somebody. The two names I think of are Buddy Hield and Victor Oladipo. But I don't really believe that would be enough for either one of those guys. I mean, their markets would have to be pretty bad if that's what they were traded for. I think Derrick Rose could be a little more possible. Whether Rondo is on the team next year, I think determines it really. D Rose is making $7 million. Whether the Pistons would want to move him or not, I don't know about that. The other thing to point out for the Lakers is that they can afford a max guy after next season. Because the only dudes who are going to be under contract in this team in 2022 are LeBron and AD. Anybody else, they could let walk. I mean, maybe they'll extend Kuzma, and I really don't know what a Kyle Kuzma extension even looks like. I mean, I don't know, $10 million, give or take, a year. But LeBron's the only guy under contract for after next season. So, I mean, they can join into the big free agent pool, and I mean, that would probably be the perfect time to get another max dude, because you figure even if LeBron is aging better than anyone could have hoped for him, it would still be very nice to have another guy in 2022. But a whole lot of teams are going to have cap space, so there's going to be a lot of candidates to sign guys that offseason. So I think that's all I've got. Is there a sign-and trade they can pull off? I don't think so, because the free agency is after the draft, which means at that point they would have either used their pick or traded it. I guess technically you could put the guy you drafted in the sign-and trade, and then you pair up that with Danny Green's contract, and that's $15+ million. And I don't know, is there a world in which Fred VanVleet just really wants to go to the Lakers and the Raptors can get something back for him? I guess so. I don't really predict this happening, but just to cover all my bases. But yeah, the Lakers, they're looking good going into next season. They've definitely got a chance to do it again. And for the last little chunk of this video, I'm going to pivot real hard to something else right now. The break, which was like 5 months long or whatever, made it kind of difficult to think of videos sometimes. And the fact that you guys stuck around throughout all of that, and then the payoff was the performance of the channel in the playoffs. I mean, trust me, I saw how much better the videos were doing with the post-game reactions and everything. And there was a stretch that I had there where I was getting like 100,000 views per video, and there was no way that was going to maintain itself, but thank you. I mean, thank you just for support in general. I mean, sticking with me throughout that whole break and then throughout these whole playoffs. I mean, it was so fun to just talk about it game by game and the prediction videos and all that. And yeah, just thank you guys for everything. Truth be told, I don't really care about being the biggest YouTuber or anything. As long as I'm doing well enough to keep doing this, that's all I really need. And I've been able to do that because of you guys. I think I'm just a regular NBA fan who just kind of shows up every day or almost every day. And I just got lucky somehow. So, again, thank you. Anyway, that'll do it.